Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 360 podcast. We are back again this week. We are grateful to be alive and to be well. It is hard to believe we're almost at the end of August. And
Yeah.
so, as always, we are happy to be with you in your home on this rainy day in Georgia. I want to, of course, introduce my co-host, as always, the Dr. Darrius here.
Hello, everyone.
So we are excited again today to bring you what God has given us to share with leaders, ministry, and in the marketplace. So we're a couple of episodes in. How you feeling so far? Before we jump into today's topic, how you feeling about this so far?
I'm feeling like it's good. A lot of people have been giving a lot of positive feedback. They're liking the information. So I just pray it's continuing to be a blessing to everybody. Every leader who's trying to start or manage their business or keep it going. I just pray it's a blessing that we can continue to give some timely information and feed and understanding.
And for those who've been joining us, we don't want you to stop. We want you to like, love, and share. Go to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe. There's so many different things that we want to share with you. And today is no different. Today we're talking about leadership. We're talking about leadership. I was literally just on a prayer call, and they were praying for leaders in ministry. And so, as I was kind of logging into ready to come on for the 360, I was thinking about sometimes I forget to pray for our leaders in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we think leadership, we solely think ministry or we think church. But it takes prayer for our leaders, even in the marketplace. And so, I wonder what would change if we really started taking a look at and praying for our leaders in the marketplace.
I think that's a wonderful thing, because sometimes I think we get caught up in just separating ourselves from the leaders and thinking that they just have it all figured out. They got it all together, that they must be in perfection. And as the saying goes, kind of heavy is the head that wears the crown. There's so many different responsibilities. There's so many different moving parts. There's so many other people depending on you. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. And if the leader is not lifted up in prayer, they can falter and fall too. So it is important for us to lift up our leaders in prayer. I think sometimes somebody might be saying, "Oh, are we talking about prayer and leadership?" I think sometimes, you got to understand, Catalyst is about ministry in the marketplace. It's about having those biblical values as you execute in your business. Business doesn't mean void of God. It means bringing God into that marketplace and that market space. And that includes us praying for our leaders to keep them uplifted and encouraged as well.
It does. Because we all need it.
Yeah.
We all need it. Whatever capacity of ministry you're in, as a mentor, even as a parent, as a spouse.
Yeah.
You're leading your home, you're leading other people in any capacity. You need prayer.
Right.
And God's got it.
Yeah. I think so many times people think about, that's the boss, that's the owner, that's the CEO or whatever. And leadership is not just about holding a title or just trying to get people to follow you, but it's about the choices you make as a leader and how you show up for other people. So we have to encourage one another. And this is why it's important for leaders to surround themselves with other leaders who have an understanding of what it means to lead and the responsibilities that it has. Because if not, you take for granted that people are following you and you don't show up for them in the right way. You don't impart into them and help them grow. You don't take them into consideration when you make decisions. Decisions not just always about the bottom line. Sometimes it's about the people who are affected by the bottom line and the decisions that you make.
And sometimes I think we get so caught up in the idea of people following us
Yeah.
until we forget that they're people and
Yeah.
that they matter. And so I found this statement about leadership, and it says leadership involves inspiring and guiding others towards a shared objective.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. Say that one more time. Say that one more
Leadership.
time.
Leadership involves inspiring and guiding others towards a shared objective.
Right. Because I wanted you to say it again because again, like I say, so many people think about the leader just having it all together and just being this perfect person, but we have to understand that, as the old saying goes, if you're leading and no one is following you, you're just taking a walk.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important as a leader to be one who can inspire others to take that walk with you, to go on that journey with you, to do the things that you're trying to do, and that kind of goes into one of the, there's so many different styles of leadership,
Yeah.
but that goes into one of the types of leadership that there is. It's called visionary leadership, and I want you all to understand that me and Dr. Crawford, we do this raw, unedited, and uncut. We're right off the dome with what we're talking about, so we stutter and go back and forth. Just understand, this is an unscripted show. But visionary leadership, visionary leaders are ones who see the future kind of clearly, and they inspire and rally others to join them. So when you think about business leaders and ministry leaders and all those different types of leaders who can inspire others to follow them, that's a visionary leader, because you got to get people to buy into what it is you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at that in the business space, you think about Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, the Macintosh, the iPhone, iTunes, all those. He didn't just sell a product. The product is a good product, and a lot of people got an iPhone in their pocket right now.
Yes.
But he didn't just sell a product. He sold a vision of what the future could be. And that inspired people to buy the product. That inspired people to invest in the company. That inspired people to follow him and follow Apple. So when you start talking about being a leader is inspiring people to follow you, it's about being a visionary.
Mm-hmm.
That's one style of leadership, being a visionary leader.
And then it's another thing to assume that people are going to buy into your vision.
Right.
Just because I give you I'll lay out my idea, I have to guide you through it.
Right.
And sometimes leaders, we get frustrated because we think because we know somebody or somebody knows us, that they're supposed to automatically grab hold to the vision that we have.
Right.
And we get frustrated and sometimes even demonize people if they don't catch the vision like that.
Right.
And we assume, because I know the vision as a leader, that we're going to pick it up and run with it.
Right.
No guidance, no explanation. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is why, as Dr. Crawford mentioned, started off praying for leaders. This is why it's important to pray for the leader. Pray that they impart the vision and articulate the vision in a way that others can follow. And sometimes it's not so much, that people don't get the vision. It's sometimes they just don't know what they need to do as being a vision carrier or vision runner in that following. And again, so we're talking about leadership. So another style of leadership is coaching leadership. And that's one of the things that Dr. Crawford and I do through Catalyst with business leaders. We kind of coach them and help them achieve the goals and the visions that they set for themselves. But as a business leader, when you have someone who kind of has the vision, but they're not kind of quite sure how they fit into the piece or what they're supposed to be doing or how they're supposed to do it, this is where that coaching style of leadership begins to come into play, because it's about now developing others so that they can see themselves in the big picture. They can see themselves in all the moving parts. They know what part they function in the moving part. So as an entrepreneur who may adapt this coaching style of leadership, you don't just solve problems, but you teach other people how to solve problems.
Yes.
And that becomes key, because when you're trying to run a business and run an organization, as the leader, you don't have time or the opportunity or the ability to do everything yourself. You have to train up other people to solve some of those problems for you, so that you don't have to worry about it.
How do you encourage leaders who may be fearful of turning over or delegating? Because it's like, well, this is mine.
It's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
This is my baby. Yeah, that's a difficult thing to do. And again, when you start talking about trying to help a leader who may be fearful of turning things over, that leader needs a coach. That leader needs a coach to come alongside them and say, hey, you can't do it all yourself. I know you're afraid. This is your baby. Things. Look at the vision that you're trying to accomplish. You can't do all these different things yourself. You have to surround yourself with capable people, impart the vision into them, show them what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And then you got to release them. You got to help them grow too. You got to help them grow too. Because again, sometimes we think we're just in business to make money, and that's not always the case. Yeah, we make the money, but it's also about developing relationships. It's also about building other people, because as we build other people, we help the business grow and expand, because they're able to take on more responsibility. The more responsibility they get, it creates ownership for them, because they begin to look at it as this is part of my thing, and they want to see it grow because it helps them to grow. So I think that's one aspect of how to help those who are afraid to kind of delegate. You got to help them see the big picture and the goal that they're trying to accomplish, and kind of walk them through and coach them through it too.
And could that help possibly come from Catalyst?
Yes.
I had to put that in there. Had to put that in there. As we were preparing for today, the question popped in my head. Even as a leader, sometimes we get frustrated because we think it's the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that popped into my mind was, as a leader, is the environment that you're creating, is it hostile or is it hospitable? We have to about people creating this environment, and it seems like people are not gravitating to it or holding on to the vision because they're not good people. They don't know how to lead. They don't know how to follow directions. They don't know how to pay attention. And so sometimes we assume that people have the tools that they need.
Right.
And they don't. And so what happens is we are creating environments that are hostile. When I found that people gravitate more toward environments that are hospitable.
Right. So here's when it comes to leadership, here's the first thing that I'm going to say as a leader, and you're running a business, you're running an organization, and you're trying to build culture, and you're talking about having a hospitable environment.
Mm-hmm.
Your first responsibility as a leader is to surround yourself with quality people, capable people. They may not know everything or may be able to do everything, but the first thing you have to make sure that you're doing is that you're surrounding yourself with high quality, high character people. And if you have high quality, high character people who are capable, you can teach them what to do. And this goes into, we talked about visionary leadership. As an entrepreneur starting out, you got to cast the vision, especially in those early stages. You got to cast that vision so that people begin to buy in to what it is you're doing, because you're not just selling a product. You're trying to encourage them to get behind a movement. And coaching leadership, you got to coach them along to you're not just solving a problem, but you're teaching them how to solve problems too. Mm-hmm. But there's also that thing called servant leadership. When you start talking about trying to build a culture, because a servant leader kind of flip the script a little bit, and instead of saying I'm at the top, they're asking, how can I help my people succeed?
Yes.
So when you start talking about, investing into the growth and the development of other people, because you have high quality, high character people who want to grow, who want to learn, who want to do, and you begin to pour into them and invest in them and develop them, they begin to do some of their best work.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have an organization that has low turnover, because they and a strong culture, because they feel valued, they feel listened to, they want to be there. So that's that servant leadership. That's the kind of leadership Jesus had.
Yes. And you really want to pay attention as a leader. It's one thing to sit in your office or sit in your space and not really hear what the people are saying.
Right.
Because there's a lot of chatter on the work floor.
Right.
A lot of chatter happens on the work floor.
Yeah.
But there are times when people don't feel comfortable with sharing that with their leaders for fear of retaliation.
Right.
And so, in terms of being a good leader, you want to hear what people are saying. You want to ask those necessary questions, even if they're the tough questions and the things that you don't want to hear.
Right. Right. That's that old school thing that they used to talk about managing. What was it like? Managing by walking about. You say you can't just sit in the office. You got to walk about. You got to be in those conversations. Instead of elevating yourself. Now you're still the boss, you're still at the top, but you can have a relationship with the people who are working for you. You can have a relationship with the people on the floor. You can be in those conversations. You can hear those things that are going on, so that you're in the know. You know the pain points that they're feeling in the business. Because sometimes some of the best ideas are coming from the people who are on the floor. They don't have a voice, but they know how this thing would be streamlined and work perfectly, and nobody ever hears their ideas because everybody devalues them because of the position they're in. So you got to walk around. You got to know the people in the mail room, the people who putting the stuff in the box and packaging and shipping it. Know everybody. Know all aspects of what's going on in your business or organization.
What leadership style would you attach this to? Where as soon as people see the CEO or they see the principal or they see the district leader or district manager, like they literally can't stand up. They're inside fear.
That's that authoritative leadership, that dictator leadership, and that don't mean that those people have those, but that feeling you're talking about, that's where that comes from, because in that style of leadership, you're not trying to build a consensus. It's like, this is what's going to happen, whether you like it or not. This is what we're doing. You just need to get on board, or you need to find somewhere else to be. And so when that type of leadership, is present, it's like they rarely take responsibility or accountability for the mistakes that they make. And so that speaks to people not wanting to speak up because they feel like there may be retaliation. I didn't do this. I was told to do this. I did it. It didn't work out. But now you're looking at me like it's my fault. I just did what y'all told me to do. So that's that authoritative type leadership. And we talk about a bunch of different styles of leadership, but the truth of the matter is, certain situations require different types of leadership, and there is a time and a space and a place for authoritative leadership. It may not be in your organization, but there are sometimes that is necessary and is called for. So it is important for a leader to understand different types of leadership, know what type that's yours, that by nature is your style, but also understand some of the other different styles too, because especially when you're first starting out in a new business or new organization, you may have to adapt your leadership style to meet certain situations and circumstances until you get to a place where you don't have to. You may be able to place different people with different leadership styles in different places and that have different responsibilities the way it requires. But that's key. That's key. Knowing the different leadership
styles. Know who you're working with.
Yeah.
Sometimes we will hire people based on familiarity.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to get the work done, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I assume if we were doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It was interesting because we had this conversation recently at work where, it's like, well, you have this degree in this. And you have, just because I have a degree, I can be book smart.
Yeah.
But it takes execution.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to know what type of leader you are, so that you know the type of people to surround yourself with.
Yes.
But also, if you're looking to go work somewhere, you got to know what type of leadership style you respond to, so that you don't put yourself in a situation that you don't need to be in. Like you can't say I don't like people, yelling at me and talking to me certain type of ways, and then go join the military. That just I don't need nobody all in my face yelling at me. Well, you don't need to go to the military, but you in line to sign up. That don't make sense. You got to know yourself. You got to know the leadership style that you function with, so you can know the type of environment that you need to be in. So yeah, we look at leadership and we just think it's just this one thing, but it's so many different personality traits and aspects that encompass leadership, and we have to know what that is.
And as
We
a
have to
leader,
know
you
what
have
it
to
is.
know yourself.
You got to know yourself. Yeah.
You have to know what triggers you.
Yes.
You have to know how you were led. What did you like? What did you not like? How did you like to be spoken to?
Right.
Even going back to your childhood, how were you raised?
Right.
What
Right.
was the leadership style like in your house?
Right.
Because
Right.
oftentimes that will transfer into us as leaders. Say, I respond to this type, or this is what I experience. And so now I assume that everybody should respond this way.
Right. Because I think we have to understand that the person who interviewed you, that's not necessarily always going to be the person who's leading you.
It's not.
So they may be pleasant in the interview, and then when something happens, they're like, "Hey, I need you to get this done by close of business today." And now you're looking like, "Hey, this is like a juggle of eye. This ain't who I signed up to work for."
Yeah.
So you need, and that could be a question you ask. In an interview? What's your leadership
What's your
style?
leadership style?
Or you can ask an employee, what type of leadership style do you respond to? What are you used to? Because again, that causes chaos and conflict once it's time for the rubber to meet the road, and now everybody's trying to lick emotional wounds because they're not responding in a way that they thought. It's not the situation I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
What about in ministry? Because oftentimes, well, I have not really experienced conversations about leadership styles in ministry. It's more so in the business sector or the marketplace. But even in ministry, you have to know your leadership style.
Right. Right. You have to know your leadership style. And I think ministry is so unique and so
It is.
dynamic in what a leader has to be able to do. You have to know what your foundational leadership style is. And we talked earlier about Jesus being a servant leader, but just because you're called to pastor church don't mean that that's going to be your unique leadership style. Your unique leadership style could be something else. But here's the thing. Here's why I say ministry is so unique and different, because I think at some point in time, as a pastor who is leading a church, you may have to encompass all of these leadership styles.
Yes.
Because although I guess in a traditional church, there may be a board or whatever who called and hired you, but at the end of the day, your ultimate boss is Jesus. And sometimes you're not there to build consensus. You're there to say, "Hey, this is what we're doing, and I need everybody to get on board." And that's authoritative. Other times it may be like, "Hey, won't do this, but what is everybody thinking?" You're trying to be democratic about it. You're trying to take collaboration. Other times, what do you need? You're serving. Other times, "Hey, we can do this. Come on." You coaching. Other times, this is where we're trying to go. We're trying to accomplish this. And you being visionary. So sometimes as a pastor, you have to encompass all different types of leadership styles. But we also understand that church can be very political sometimes.
Yeah.
So you got to know how to play the political game as well. Yeah, it's a unique thing.
It's very unique, and sometimes because in church you're dealing with people that you did not hire.
Right. And like I said, so you don't have an opportunity to surround yourself with them. So people just come and people just go, and they're not paid employees for the most part.
Right.
So you're trying to get a group of volunteers to gel together and follow the vision and accomplish goals that they're not necessarily getting paid for. And that's difficult at times.
So how important do you think it is for pastors and those who are ministry leaders within their congregation to learn the different leadership styles?
I think it is very important. I think pastors as leaders need to know the different leadership styles, to know uh, what style is required in what situation, because sometimes a lot of pastors get ran over or overwhelmed or whatever because they're using the wrong style in the wrong situation. Um, but I think, church members need to understand different leadership styles too, to understand this is why the pastor's being like this in this situation. And they may seem like a dictator in this situation, but this is something that God has spoken, and I can't be democratic with the congregation and offer the motion and take the vote when Jesus and when the Holy Spirit has said this is what we doing, and you need to get everybody on board to doing it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it played out because my dad, my dad was a pastor,
right?
And so I didn't understand some things.
Yeah.
And I would come home sometimes. I was like, you are so mean to people. You just finished preaching, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And so as I got older and, started to experience people for myself.
Yeah.
And so, and he would tell me, he said, baby, one day you'll understand.
Yeah.
And so, he said other few choice words that I cannot repeat. But, and as I got older, and he and I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And for those who may be,
he was very loving.
Yeah.
He was a people person. And people would gravitate towards him. And I was like, you just me. Why y'all like him? Oh, but when I tell you to see lives change,
yeah,
because he was like people, you just gotta give it to him right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he was like, there are those people that I have to draw them in by being more loving and being. And so for him to be able to know that was just like mind blowing to me. How do you know how to do it when?
Yeah.
And so I think, and not just because of his word, but seeing the fruit of his labor, but seeing, the success of his ministry while he was here on the earth, it was like that balance piece was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for those of you who maybe joined us for the first time, Dr. Crawford and myself both are pastors, so we understand that balancing act of trying to determine which leadership style needs to go with what situation. And it's not always easy because you're trying to develop people at the end of the day too. You're trying to accomplish a goal, accomplish a vision, but you're also trying to develop people. And some people need, tough love.
Right.
And it's not like a business where, if you're hard on a person, well, they're saying, well, I need my job. I just got to bear it and take it. When you do that with a church member, sometimes, well, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And they don't understand that tough love is meant to make them grow and to help them grow. And it's what they need in that season, in that moment. So it's a unique dynamic. Yeah.
I think now we have to think as leaders, making that shift because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because of what's happening around the world. I think leaders have to also stay in tune with what's happening.
Yeah.
Now we're pastoring people, and we are business leaders and have employees who have a lot of mental talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of talent, personal. And so to have them in this, I need you to do this job. I need to handle this. But even understanding, I need to understand your capacity, your mental capacity, and your spiritual capacity to do these things.
Yeah. 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 We got to learn to be more empathetic with people and understand the issues that trigger them and set them off in a way that we didn't have to deal with in the past. Or we just looked past in the past. People just had the mindset, well, you just got to slow up and deal with it. Well, that's not necessarily the way things are now. So yeah, we have to be more empathetic and lead with empathy.
Yeah. And I think it's going to take more, not nothing against prayer. We all need prayer, but sometimes it's going to take more than prayer because
Right.
it's okay. Yes, we'll pray for you, but now we need some tools,
Right. Right.
and not the tools to give you at home, but now as leaders, we have to find tools and resources in the marketplace of ministry, in the
Right.
church,
Right.
and in the business. I may have to turn it off into a wellness space,
Right.
where when you feel something coming on or trigger coming on, hey, you need to go to this room and calm yourself down
Right.
because I need this by 5 o'clock today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you take your lunch break in the calm down room.
Yeah. 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 And because I think business has gotten away from that caring and that family orient, especially that our grandparents may have experienced, where everybody was kind of like they were friendly and they so we've kind of gotten away from that, and it's all about the bottom line and accomplish this and get this done. And it's like work has become your whole life now. Even when you're at home, you're trying to work, and you're neglecting family. So we gotta kind of pull that back some. Yeah. And put the work-life balance, put the balance back in between it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
there has to be some downtime.
And thinking about in that regard, sometimes it may not create a hostile environment at your place of business, but you may cause that person to create a hostile environment at their home.
Yeah. 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 Because if it never shuts off, you're always plugged into boss role or employee role, and it never shuts off. You carry it at home. Yeah. You're treating them like you treat the people on the job, and that's not going to always fly. If anybody has any questions, you can begin throwing those in the comments right now before we get ready to get out of here. As we always do, we want to take some questions from anybody who has any. And while you all think on that, I want to announce something while you all think on that. So let me ask you all a serious question. How many of you all ever feel like you are pouring all of your energy into your vision, into your business, but you never see the growth and the results that you expect from it? And maybe you've been sitting on a business idea, a ministry idea, a nonprofit idea, but you're not even sure how to get started. And so since you're not sure how to get started, you never start. Maybe you've already launched your business, your organization, but the results don't seem to be reflecting all the work and energy that you pouring into it. So you feel kind of stuck. I'm not getting the sales. I'm not getting the clients. I'm not growing like I want to. So I think we have to be real.
Yeah.
Because there are too many leaders who are stuck in the same cycle. You've got ideas, but you don't have a clear plan on how to get started. Or you started, but the money you making it's not matching the energy that you putting out. I think some of y'all can probably relate to that. You got a business that you want to be a full business, but it's still feeling like a side hustle. It's still feeling like a hobby. And you're trying to figure it all out by yourself. And all that do is it just leads you to more frustration, and you just continue wasting time. It's like I'm trying to get this thing going, I just can't get it going. So I know that's speaking to some people. So what Dr. Crawford and I have done, we've created the Power Table. The Power Table, blueprint and breakthrough. And it's going to help you overcome all those obstacles and more for your business and your organization. So y'all listen to me. On Saturday, April 11th, 2026, we starting registration early because this is going to be something big. On Saturday, April 11th, 2026 at 10 a.m., we are bringing together business leaders, organizational leaders who are ready to break through all that confusion, who are ready to stop dealing with the same obstacles, who are ready to see some progress in their business. Now, at the Power Table, you are going to leave with a 30-day plan of execution to achieve the biggest goal that you have in front of you or overcome the biggest obstacle that's standing in your way. You're going to have an actionable 30-day plan of execution. You're going to develop it right there in the room. You're going to have an opportunity to network with other businesses, other ministries, other nonprofit leaders so that you can establish some partnerships and maybe have some collaborations. There's going to be opportunities for you to showcase your business so you can gain some new clients. There's going to be some networking opportunities. If you're tired of just guessing on what should I do next, but you're ready to actually now lead with confidence, with some clarity, well, the power table is where it starts. So I want y'all to go to our website, Catalyst360consultant.com. It's Catalyst, then the number 360consultant.com, and claim your seat. Okay? There's the core experience, and then there's the power experience. If you want the power experience, you'll get an opportunity to get a vendor table so you can sell your product or service. You'll be at a table with other power experience attendees so that you all can have some high networking opportunities together. It's going to be so much interactive information going forward. It's going to be a unique experience that's not been done before. So we want y'all in the room at the power table. April 11, 2026, 10 a.m. If you are serious about turning your business from a side hustle or a hobby into a real thing, this is where you need to be. All right? And that's my little spiel for right now. So we're going to see if there's any questions that anybody have. Anybody have any questions in there?
I don't see any questions.
Okay.
I think people are just pondering.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it's like I'm even thinking about, I'm sitting here listening to the process, but I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, what kind of leader am I? Maybe I need to practice some things.
Yeah. And we only just touched on a few different leaderships. There's so many other transformational leaders, there's transactional leaders, there's so many different leadership styles that are out there. You have to find your style. And I'm not going to say that this one is better than this one, because again, all of them can be used in different situations, but you have to know what you are, and you have to know what you need to work with as an employee. You have to know the type of people you need to surround yourself with. So it's important to know what you are and know who you need to surround yourself with. Because somebody who responds well to bonuses and being put on a sales board, they may respond better to a transactional leader. So it's important for you to know yourself.
I saw this quote, I think it's Michael Jordan, and it says, earn your leadership every day.
Yeah.
Earn your leadership every day. Don't just assume that because people have been working with you or working for you or rocking with you for 10, 15 years, never take those things for granted.
Yeah.
And I was like, so-and-so's not going anywhere. You never know. So-and-so can get out and just walk out the door. And so earn your leadership every day. Understand that it is a gift that God has given you and bestowed upon you. And don't even that for granted.
Right. And know when to pivot your leadership, because so many people have lost good people because they ran them away because of their style. So know when to pivot with the people that you have working with you.
So get registered today.
Get registered today.
Oh, April's a long way away. Do y'all see how fast this is going by?
Yeah, and listen, there's a discount for early bird registration, but it's limited. So get that early bird registration. There's a limit to the VIP or the power experience registration. So if you want to have a vendor table so you can showcase your business and sell your product at the event, register the day before those slots get gone, because they're going to get gone
fast.
All right. Well, thank everybody for coming hanging out with us this Saturday on the 360. We hope you all have been blessed by this talk on leadership styles. Join us again on the next episode of the 360. You'll be blessed. Go to our website, Catalyst360consultant.com, for all of your coaching and consulting needs. And we look forward to working with you. See you next time.